After completing my 10th class exams in 1979, my father suggested that I go and help my father's uncle and learns astrology. Mathematics being my favorite subject, I learned the calculations. My grandfather taught me how to calculate the inclinations of each planet and how to calculate the lagna and the meridian center MC, and he gave me some birth charts to draw. Thus, I learned how to draw the birth charts first and showed interest in predictions. So, my grandfather told me some predictions, some of the tips that he usually uses for predictions. And after learning those tips, I documented some of them. I verified with my father. While my father and my grandfather have laid the foundation for me to get interested in astrology for almost a decade or 2 decades, I didn't show any interest. Okay, now let's start looking at the natal chart and the transit planets for during the month of October through January, October 2019 till January 2020. Uh, as you are know, as in my first presentation, I mentioned that this is in my chart. I'm currently going through the Ashtama Shani because natal transit Saturn is in exactly in the 8th house from natal moon. So I'm going through Ashtama Shani, and I have mentioned how bad things will be during the Ashtama Shani period. While by Ashtama Shani will be until end of January 2020. While that is going on, two other major the other two slow moving planets had changed their positions, and that has resulted into a number of events during this Ashtama Shani period for me in my life. The first one is transit Rahu has entered the 10th house from Rashi Lagna, where it co-joined with natal Rahu and natal Venus. The 10th house is career. That this happened in somewhere in month of March 2019. So, and Venus is the second house lord, second and ninth house lord Venus. As soon as transit Rahu entered the 10th house and co-joined with natal Rahu, there were a lot of chaotic events happened in my career. That's the first thing. That has because the house is the 10th house. Second thing, with transit Rahu co-joining with natal Rahu, and they both are co-joining with the second house lord Venus, which is the second and ninth house lord. It has resulted into some unexpected expenditures because the second house is Dhanasthanamo and ninth house is Bhagyasthanamo, and a little bit of friction in the family environment because second house is Kutumbasthanamo. And while these things are going on, fortunately, Jupiter is the 8th house lord. Jupiter, the 8th house lord from moon, natal moon, is Jupiter, is still in the 7th house. So the transit Jupiter is going to enter the 8th house somewhere in November 2019, and it will stay there for 3 months and then retrogrades and goes back to the Scorpio, the previous house. So for these 3 months, November 2019, January 2019, and sorry, December 2019 and January 2020, these 3 months are very crucial in my birth chart, according to my birth chart, because the first thing, Saturn and Jupiter, they both are transit, they both are co-joined in the 8th house from natal moon. That means during the Ashtama Shani period, Jupiter, who is the lord of the 8th house and lord of the 1, 2, 3, the 4th, 5th, 4th, and 7th house lord Jupiter, is going to co-join, is going to be in the 8th house and co-joined with the 5th and 6th house lord Saturn, and they both are having a direct aspect on natal Rahu and transit Rahu in my 10th house. So the Jupiter, the 4th and 7th house Lord Jupiter is going to have a direct aspect on my 10th house and having a direct aspect on Rahu in both natal and transit in my 10th house. So this is the period that is very crucial when for me, and in general, if any native is going through Ashtama Shani or Elnati Shani or Shade Shani, then during that period it is not a good sign when Jupiter and Saturn are co-joined or have some sort of a direct relationship, like the 7th house direct aspect, or Jupiter staying in the house owned by Saturn, or vice versa. Since this is happening, what I have to say here is that with the 8th house Lord, 8th house from natal moon, Ashtama Shani, during this Ashtama Shani period, Saturn and Jupiter are co-joined, so they are going to spoil the house owned by house, the whatever the bhava for Mesha, which is the 8th house from my Rashi Lagna and the 12th house of my Chandra Lagna, and that's where the natal Jupiter, the 4th and 7th house Lord natal Jupiter, is also residing. So basically, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell that the Mahadasa for me right now, the Mahadasa that is going is also Jupiter Mahadasa, sorry, Saturn Mahadasa. So, having said that, the possibilities are the number of possibilities. The first possibility is, since Jupiter and Saturn have co-joined in the 4th house, and them spoiling the 8th house where the natal Jupiter is also residing. So the possibility is something that some sort of a friction is going to be which is already started during the Ashtama Shani period, will be exaggerated. I mean, will be exponentially increased during these 3 months period, November, December and January. That's the first thing. And since it is the 4th house, which is the Sukhasthanamo, there will be some chaotic disturbances in the 4th house, which is the Sukhasthanamo. Also the 4th house deals with mother, and so there's a little bit of health related issues or some sort of a friction between the native me and my mother, who is still alive. And if you look at it, the another thing is Rahu, who is in the 10th house, is already looking at in the 4th house, where the 4th Jupiter and transit Saturn are residing. So this might 10th house also deals with Karmasthanamo. So this is something that I need to keep an eye on and see when it related to Karmasthanamo. During these 3 months, what is the event that might happen because of the Saturn Jupiter co-joining in the 8th house from natal moon, and natal Jupiter is in the 8th house from Rashi Lagna and 12th house from Chandra Lagna. Now let me explain in detail the impact of the Saturn and Jupiter transit Saturn and transit Jupiter combination during the Ashtama Shani period, based upon, I'm using my own chart as an example. And let me look at the Vimshottari Dasa. In the current Vimshottari Dasa is Saturn Mahadasa, which started in November 2011 and goes all the way till 2021. The Ashtama Shani that I had is started somewhere in November 2017 and ends in January 2020. So during my whole Ashtama Shani 2.5 years period, I'll under the Saturn Mahadasa. That's a very important thing to keep in mind. The second thing is Jupiter and transit Jupiter co-joins with the transit Saturn in Sagittarius, which is my 8th house from natal moon, somewhere in November of 2019. So for 3 months it will be there, November, December 2019 and January 2020. And in the Vimshottari Dasa, my Jupiter Antardasa, under Saturn Mahadasa, the Jupiter Antardasa started in on April 27th. Oh gosh, that's exactly when I left to India. It's on April 26th I went to India. So on April 27th, the Jupiter Antardasa started, and to be more precise, Saturn Pratyantara Dasa will be starting on August 31st. That's today is August 29th. So in another 3 more days, Saturn Pratyantara Dasa will start. That is from 1st September. I'll be in Saturn Mahadasa, Jupiter Antardasa, Saturn Pratyantara Dasa, and for the first 24 days of September, it will be Saturn Sukshmantara Dasa. So during this period, when the Saturn Sukshmantara Dasa comes, that is during the 24 days of September, what you'll see, what I'm going to see here is the Saturn Ashtama Shani being very high because of the 8th house being in the Saturn being in the 8th house, and the transit Saturn's third aspect is directly on natal Saturn, which is in the 6th house. So the impact will be pertaining to the 6th house, which is debts, illnesses, and employment conditions. That's the first impact. The second thing is transit Saturn is having a direct aspect on my 4th house on my 10th house from Rashi Lagna and 2nd house from Chandra Lagna. So the impact, if we consider from the Rashi Lagna, the impact is on career, which is my 10th house. If we see the impact from Chandra Lagna, it is the 2nd house, which is the Kutumbasthanamu and Dhanasthanamu. So during the first 24 days of September, because from Moon, it is in the 2nd house where natal and transit Rahu are residing, and Venus, the 2nd house lord from Rashi Lagna, is residing in the 2nd house from Chandra Lagna, and all these are having a direct aspect from transit Saturn, which is in the 8th house from Chandra Lagna. There will be a lot of mental anxiety and disturbances pertain in family and with the family members, or in family relationship with family members, and also that might result into some sort of a, because it is Venus is the Dhanasthanamu and Dhanasthanadipati, some results into some sort of a financial expenditures or financial losses, but that will be highly visible during these first 24 days of September, because Saturn Mahadasa, Jupiter Antardasa, Saturn Pratyantara Dasa, and Saturn Sukshmantara Dasa. This is the first thing to be noted. The second thing is between October 23rd till November 16th. Remember, by November 16th, still transit Jupiter is still in Scorpio, which is the 7th house from my Chandra Lagna. So during that period, Venus Sukshmantara Dasa, when Venus Sukshmantara Dasa comes in, which is October 23rd till November 16th, because it is a Venus from Rashi Lagna is the 2nd and the 9th house lord, Dhanasthanadipati, Kutumbasthanadipati, and Bhagyasthanadipati, and from Chandra Lagna, it is residing in the 2nd house, and as I said earlier, it is co-joined with transit and natal Rahu, and having a direct aspect from transit Saturn. The impact that I have seen during the first 24 days in September will be repeated again from October 24th all the way till November 16th. That means almost 3 weeks altogether. So during the Saturn Pratyantara Dasa, starting from August to 31st all the way till November 16th, transit Jupiter will still be in Scorpio, but the only problems that I might face, is pertaining to the 2nd house, Kutumbasthanamu or Dhanasthanamu. They both come under the 2nd house, and because Venus, the 2nd house lord is Venus, has been badly afflicted by direct aspect from transit Saturn and co-joining with the natal Rahu and transit Rahu. Then comes the most important period, is that is from 13th of December all the way till 2020 January 23rd. From 13th December all the way till 2020 January 23rd, transit Saturn and transit Jupiter are both going to be co-joined in the 8th house Sagittarius from Chandra Lagna, and 1 2 3 the 4th house from Rashi Lagna. So whatever the effect that I am going to see during that from that period, that is 12th December all the way till 23rd January, it's almost equal to 1 month 10 days. During those 40 days is a hell. I'm sorry to say that, but it will be a hell. I said it as the most challenging period, and it is extremely challenging, and I'm aware of all these things are going to happen. So let me wait and see how exactly during those 3 months did the transit Jupiter, when it joined with transit Saturn and having a direct aspect with the natal and transit Rahu and the natal Venus. Let me see how the things will be how bad the things will be. I will update probably February of 2020. I'll try my level best to update it. Thank you.